So I didn't think I'd be making another Planetside 2 video quite so quickly after the last, but some new interesting things happened and some other interesting details came to light to make re-evaluating this game in the cold light of 2020 itself rather interesting. And as you'll know from my other recent videos, I've been looking at some more hardcore FPS titles, Hell Let Loose, Squad, Postscriptum, and it struck me that much of what I enjoyed about those titles was actually new to me back when I started playing Planetside 2. Now, it's not the suppression systems or the astonishingly realistic weapon sounds that makes those previously mentioned titles really sing. It struck me that perhaps some of my most memorable moments playing Planetside 2 over the years were often not the battles or the action itself, but instead it was the fun and camaraderie that I recall along the way. I don't really remember the fights, but I remember the massive string of galaxies leaving the warp gate to ferry reinforcements during the Miller zombie invasion event all those years back, the jokes over proximity chat and the rather liberal use of Yell. Can't help feeling that if you're someone who enjoys a game like Squad now, then Planetside 2 will be something that you and your clanmates would also get a kick out of. That organisation and coordination that makes you effective in military sims can be also brought to bear in a sci-fi world where you can summon force multipliers at almost any time. You guys want to be paratroopers? Sure thing. Want everyone to pull armor and become a tank platoon? Let's just get at it. All that time spent on teamwork transfers over into this very different sort of world. And just a quick interlude to say that if you do enjoy this video and you like me making videos about Planetside, then please do tap the thumb up button. It really helps me out with YouTube and discoverability and all kind of stuff like that. So if you choose to do that, thank you. It really is appreciated. We should probably talk about that new information now as well. I made a video talking about how I still had hopes that Planetside could have some future glory days after a somewhat premature end to the Planetside Arena project. Well, a couple of weeks back, we awoke to some interesting piece of news. We were reading a producer's letter from Andy Seitz, and he was welcoming us to Rogue Planet Games, and something of an unexpected restructuring. All of the Planetside titles, of which publicly are a single game now, that being Planetside 2, will be developed by splintering off the dev team from Daybreak Games. Daybreak isn't going away completely though, it'll still be the publisher and will be providing what they call live operations and infrastructure support, so I'm guessing that's servers, customer support and that sort of thing. Again though, in the quite marketing heavy statement, you have another reference to Planetside 3. The establishment of Rogue Planet Games provides a runway and opportunity for us to deliver our vision for Planetside 3, but that discussion will happen in due time. Until then, we have lots of great stuff in store for Planetside 2. So the non-starter of Planetside Arena doesn't seem to have dampened the hopes for the third title in this beloved franchise. And as much as I'd like to believe that it's going to be real, well, we've seen so much happen and not really happen in Planetside 2's past, I'm going to need something a little bit more concrete. With that being said, something that I touched on last time was whether the development team that was left after those layoffs at the end of last year, just what sort of resource does that team have to really push things forward, lift those good ideas into being actual features and assets in the game. Well, on Twitter of all places, just after the Rogue Planet game announcement, we had a tweet from Andy Seitz again. He showed a picture of the new team under that new banner. What we could see is 29 developers and one very cute dog. Now, I'm not claiming to be a software development producer or analyst or anything like that, but to me, 29 doesn't sound like a game in a holding pattern. That isn't a couple of people making updated assets for the same event that ran last year, but now it says 2020 in the banner. 29 people split properly across all the disciplines that are needed to make a game can really make things happen. It's not the size of a AAA team, but let's be honest, all the love we have for Planetside 2, it's never even really wanted to rub shoulders with something as mass market as like Call of Duty. It's always asked too much from its players, made them have to keep a bigger picture in their minds about what these battles mean in a grander scale. In fact, it's that extra layer that keeps it relevant. While other titles evolve graphically, they're still actually playing catch-up to the gameplay that Planetside has had since the very start. Will this team, split alongside its new sister studios, Dimensional Ink Games dealing with the DC Universe Online, and Dark Pole Games dealing with Evercrest, find that they can be more agile and smaller and almost like an indie team? Well, it's another time will tell. But my hopes are that the increased speed of development that we've seen of late is indicative of a team with their proudest moments ahead of them. I also wanted to talk to you about something that came up during a stream I was watching. Carto, one of the devs now on Planetside 2, was asked about the possibility of some of the assets used in Planetside Arena finding their way back into PS2 at some point. It struck me as an interesting question. After all, a lot of time, effort, and, let's be blunt, money went into making those weapons, vehicles, and environmental props and so on. They are from the same world as Planetside 2, though the timescales of the two lore of the two games don't readily sync up, although we did see similar Planetside 2 style buildings actually in Arena, so I don't know, the lore question doesn't for me present much of a problem, but there was good work there, some of the assets authored to a high degree, and indeed some of the best stuff we've ever seen in a Planetside game. So bearing in mind that the main problem that the Planetside 2 community had with Arena was the BR nature and like the third person view, it would seem like a no-brainer to use those kind of open brackets free assets now back into Planetside 2, or at least that would be my perspective. I'm very interested to know what you think of that idea though. If you were a Planetside 2 player, how would you feel about some of the best visual parts of Arena being ported back in some capacity and being integrated into Planetside 2? Leave me a comment below with your thoughts and passionate feelings. And I would also say that if you enjoy nerding out and talking about games, then Carto's stream was him actually working on future assets for Planetside 2. So if you want some sneak peeks at new stuff that's still in the works, or hop into chat and ask a question, he seemed pretty open about things and answers questions when he's able to, then I'll link his Twitch stream in the description below. With all the new potential and optimism in the air for Planetside 2, it's nice thinking about how it still has a place even today, some years after its launch. Those new titles I mentioned earlier, obviously completely different in style for an FPS game to Planetside, show that since it came to market, no other title has put together the sort of massive scale, open world, do anything blend that keeps a core and loyal group of people coming back for more. If you have any thoughts or feelings about any of the topics I've touched on today, then please leave a comment below right now. I'll of course read every single one of them. If you enjoyed the video, please do tap the sub button, it helps me grow the channel and keep making other videos in the future that I hope you'll enjoy too. Thanks so much for watching, I'll see you next time, take care.